how did you come to know Christ? How did you get saved?
I was saved at a camp meeting down in Brooklyn, West Virginia. Bull Run was. We used to have camp meetings would come through the communities, and we would go to those, and that's how I got saved.
Were any of your siblings saved also at that time, or was it just
I didn't know that they were right at that very time. Some were ahead of me, some of the older ones.
What are some of the ministries that you've had? Dad said you were a Sunday school superintendent when he was growing up and things like that.
I was at an Ellesmere for the elementary department. I was Sunday school superintendent. I sang in the choir for a while. And then after we started going to Faith, I worked in the children's church and in the nursery. Served on the Lady Service Committee, the Activities Committee, and Missions Committee.
And how about Grandpa? How did he get saved? And
he was actually saved before I ever knew him, but he didn't follow through with it. He was saved in either Carlisle or Scarborough, West Virginia. But then after he got out, then I think he really, when he was in service, that's when he realized and really made a commitment to the Lord. But he still didn't follow through with that until several years after he got out of service. And I think basically through a TV program.
One of my questions was, what was it like for you and Grandpa when Dad and Mom decided to be missionaries and go to Chile?
I think it was harder for your grandfather than it was for me. Not that he just felt like, well, why can't they just serve the Lord here rather than go? But he finally did it. He accepted. But we had made a commitment several years before at an evangelistic meeting in our church, and we had committed ourselves, if the Lord should call our kids, that we would not interfere. We'd let them go. So he knew we had made that commitment.
What are some of your best memories with Grandpa?
I think watching him with the kids when they were little. He was great in playing with the kids when they were little. I would say those were some of the best moments.
What would you say some of the overall some of the best memories that you have, or most joyful moments that you remember throughout your life?
I think growing up in a large family and always having someone there to do things with, and being close with the neighbors. I mean, we were always very close with each other, back and forth, different houses, and just you created things to do. We didn't have the entertainment that people have today, but we did enjoy just doing things together. We always went in groups.
What were some of the maybe some of the hardest experiences that you remember through your life that stand out?
One very hard one was when my oldest brother died. I was 18, I think, when he died. He was only 25, and that was very, very difficult. And a lot of hard memories were that we had to really work and help support the family because of very income.
What are some of the lessons that you've learned that you would want to, if you had to pass on some lessons, what would be some of them? important ones that you would want to pass on?
That you really can do what you want to do. People today will say, well, I never had a chance. Yeah, I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. You have to make the choices. And we worked for other people, and yet we didn't really think of it as being work. We enjoyed doing it for the neighbors and just running errands for them and doing things with their children, and we spent a lot of, we went to church, we enjoyed the programs at Christmas time, Easter time, and